All right, guys, another episode of Motorhome Rehab Ranch. Thanks for coming. I'm Jim Bales with Co-op Motor Works and Motorhome Rehab Ranch. Ranch hands, your drifters. We're going to talk about Exhibit A, and the other side of Exhibit A be Exhibit B. Fuel systems. How to get fuel and how to burn it from the gas tank to the piston. Hey, and listen, I want to do a reach out to DJ. Dude calls me about, 8:30 in the evening. I go, well, yeah, somebody's in trouble. Guy calls me up and goes, morning. Morning? We got a ranch hand in the middle of, they don't call them desert. What's it called? In the middle of nowhere. I guess BFA. In the middle of Australia with a gas question. How do I stop it from dropping gas? Number one thing, you're pumping gas in and it starts to come out the bottom, carefully, stop pumping gas. If it stops, it's a vent. Mark how much gas you put in it. I drove Larry 2 years, of which I had a gas gauge. As soon as it started leaking, I stopped putting gas in it. Worked out just fine. It's probably still that way. So he's got to get home. He's in the middle of, it's not called the Serengeti. What's it called out there? The middle of Outback. Yeah, it's in the middle of Outback, I guess, with a GMC. Just bought it. It might be a spoiler alert, but no one knows he has it yet. And he's living in it. Booyah! That's dedication. All right. Well, anyway, fuel systems. We have to run ethanol gas. It's just here. Okay? I got a place here in town that I can get non-ethanol around town, but you're on the highway, you can't not get ethanol gas. It's just, you can't be reliable with it. And if you get any other gas than just about the cheapest thing you can pump, you're going to melt your wallet. So we need to have our belch fire, big block, redneck, fat tolerant, smelly motors run on 87 octane ethanol. Gasoline. Got to do it. No choice. All right. Only do it when you're on the highway. If you're sitting at home and it's sitting around, you either need to have high test in it, because the theory is it has less ethanol in it, or you get ethanol-free fuel. If it's sitting still, that's what you want to put in. If you're driving down the road, we're going to blow through it. All right. Put ethanol in these metal tanks. There's rust in there. Understand that alcohol and rust and water equals junk in your fuel filters. Junk in the filters. All right. We're going to create junk in the filters, so carry an extra filter. Now, something else that we found out about filters. Every filter element that we have available to us at Home Depot, not Home Depot, at Auto Parts Store, they're all paper elements. Paper elements. High pressure pumps, even non-high pressure pumps. We've seen the elements blow apart, deteriorate. Been sitting in that fuel so long, you put a little pressure to it, blows out. My suggestion is to get a stainless steel cleanable element filter. Phytech just came out with one. Why? Well, I think they found if anything bigger than 10 microns gets into the injectors. Remember how everybody had injector problems and they clog up and, everybody's yelling, oh, it's Phytech. No, it's the gas, brother. It's the junk in the gas. So it's not just because it's Phytech. If you can find a stainless steel cleanable, clear, so you can see flow, filter, 10 microns or smaller, got to put that in the system. And you got to be able to clean it, because we know that we're going to create junk. Because yeah, it's going to do it. All right. Next thing, if you're going to run a carburetor, there's a 330-48 little 5 micron paper carb filter in the front of your carburetor, have a bunch of them. I built a coach for my wife. She said she wanted a 23. I put it all together. Heading out to the first rally, we got just outside of town, starting to buck, wouldn't go over 60, then wouldn't go over 50, oh damn, sorry. Pulled into the rest area. Sure enough, that filter was clogged. Looked over at Janie and said, babe, we're gonna have to go home because I can't go anywhere without a filter. She said, I got 2 in my purse. What? She said, you've been telling people for 10 to 15 years at that time to always have an extra 330-48. I've carried 2 of them in my purse. True story, man. We had a 23-foot coach. We're going to Sarasota. We made it there and back. 330-48 wicks. Have at least one. If you don't, have your wife have one. All right. So it's all about filtering. Also on the engine. You know that an ethanol fuel, the new fuel formulations today will not atomize, in other words, atomize, fancy word, mix. It will not mix at air pressure, ambient air pressure. Sounds big, right? But it's like what I breathe, right? Diesel's the same way. It will not atomize at normal air pressure. You got to pressurize this stuff, put it in a supercharger, a turbo. Now the stuff gets badass. They probably wouldn't too. But that's the way fuel is today. Gasoline's made, we have to pressurize it. So it will atomize because it won't do it at air pressure, ambient pressure, all right? If you're gonna run a carburetor, you know that it's not gonna mix well. All right, there's going to be a little bit of residue gas. Where does it go? Didn't burn it. Where does it go? It goes into the oil. It goes past the rings, goes into the oil. When you put gasoline in oil, you guys know what happens. It thins out. It doesn't have the lubricity, fancy word, the slippery turtle poopness, and the motor has a problem. So if you're going to run a carburetor and you're going to run ethanol fuel, regular fuel, you need to change your oil often. 1,000 miles, maybe 1,500 miles. You go, oh my God. Dude, life has changed. If you don't, the oil will get thin. Go out right now and pull your dipstick and smell your oil. If it's been in there a while and you've been driving a little bit, it'll smell like gas. Pourquoi? There's gas in it. It's the truth. I'm sorry. All right, next thing, tuning. What's your motor? You say, well, it's a big metal thing up front. Has it been rebuilt? How many times? Who did it? Bubba or Scooter or both of them? Was it built well? What's your oil pressure? There's a lot of factors involved about the motor, but the bottom line is this. Whatever that thing is, it's running. Okay, well then it's not making noises. Okay, well we're gonna run with it. Whatever you have under the hood needs to be as lean as possible. Why? Because the leaner it gets, the hotter it will burn, and the more it will burn the garbage. Right? What happens if you go too lean? Hole in the piston. Yeah. So don't drive it like you stole it when it's lean, brother. But if you don't have it lean, if you set it at 10 degrees like the factory says, you better push, because it won't go. The minute you start advancing it, boom, it takes off, because now the gas is burning. And then you go far enough and it starts to ping. Well, it's running better, let's keep going. That's when you have a problem. We built the last engine that we built that had a carburetor on it. Went up to Wisconsin. The guy's an engineer. Smart man. He knows the limitations of his stuff, and he wants the limitations all the time. Translated, he drives it like he stole it. Okay? First trip up the mountain, he burned up the piston. Okay? It leaned out, even though he's at high altitude, the thing's gonna lean up. Burned the hole in the piston. He's mad at me. We finally got to the understanding that the carburetor you can't do it. So we've never built a carburetor system since. So it's all about having to get clean fuel at the right pressure, temperature, clean, to whatever's going to burn it. If it's going to be injector, it's going to be a little squirt nozzle out of your Windex bottle in the carburetor, whatever it's going to be, fuel from here to there, all right? If your engine has a cam, which the cam is the program of the motor, which is the computer. If your cam is set up for high test gas or high compression, or your engine was built by Joe Mondello and it's ready to go in a jet boat or something like that, well, brother, you just do the best you can, but you got to work with what you have. Those kind of motors are not what we want. We want a motor that runs on low compression gas, right? We want a motor that does not get hot, that you have a fuel injection in it, okay, that creates most of its torque at low RPM. Okay? We don't want a race motor. But if that's what you've got, lean it out, drive it right, drive with your vacuum. Stay above 10 inches of vacuum. You can stay above 10 inches of vacuum, you can save money in fuel, and chances are you won't burn something up. All right, well look, I hope this is helpful. We had comments that come in on the last videos. One of the comments was about the alternator light system. Guy called, he texted in and he wanted to, well, do you cut the wire or not? Can I just cut the wire and it goes away? Well, you could, but then the alternator won't work. Well, what do I do now? Go get a one-wire alternator. Oh. I love the question. I want to answer the question, okay? Because they're all important, right? Thank you for your help. Thank you for your support. Because of the support we're doing, because of the support you're giving us, next year we're going to be doing some new things for you, okay? The daily pose. You guys have been so faithful on that. Thank you, okay? Daily pose is going to turn into a support of our Patreon and the people that want to know it. It's going to be called Ranch News, okay? Everybody will have access. Each month, the ranch hands will be notified and you will get a special bulletin. Each month will be updated through the month, and we'll contact you and let you know with a text alert. And there will be specific information for you only. You can decide what you want to do with it, but I'm talking to you boys. You signed on, so there's got to be a reason. The patterns were sent out yesterday. Got that done. We got some other things happening. So next year is going to be a big thing for the GMC. It's going to be a big thing for us. We're going to be getting on the internet, more access, and it's all because of you. It's all for you, and we appreciate your help. All right, guys, well, look, we'll see you next time. Got some cool things we're going to be doing videos on. Stay tuned. Bye-bye. Oh, guys, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Subscribe and like. Like twice. Subscribe once. Do it for me. See ya.